The end is near.
Philip, we're on.
Oh, we're on what?
We're on.
We're on what?
We're on.
Take 4.
Take 4.
We would like to thank the people who have brought you the NBN.
Oh, my God.
You've got no idea.
Oh. We're on, Rob. We're happy. We're here. Oh. Right, okay. Welcome, everyone. Take 4.
Who was that?
Oh my God.
You have got no idea. We're not. It's not that we're running on Mount Gambier time tonight. It's just that we've had the odd stuff up.
Well, no, we haven't. But I mean, we plugged everything in, and you know, we've been doing stuff. And Rob's got the first episode of Rides Down Under Workshop Wars appears on Channel 7 or 7 Mate this Saturday at 3:00.
Yes,
been very busy doing that.
Yes.
So we've then run around,
and then we had a few technical
ready
glitches. But anyway, we're here now with our special guest Paul Morris live. Is he live in the studio?
No.
Are you kicking me out? Am I out?
No.
Morris out. Morris in, Brannigan out.
Yep, something like that. And Rob the Apprentice is here, and we're all going out. You can hear us even out there, Rob, can you? Yeah. Even better. There we go.
But it's okay. Everything will be fine. All right. And it's not like we have to talk about the Bathurst 1000 tonight. All I can say is, Gerald, thank God that's over.
Phil.
What?
Phil, we do have to talk about Bathurst.
The December race, the one that's coming up.
No.
International. Yes.
No, not the December race, Phil. If you've been living under a rock in the past couple of days,
I've been working off a motorbike lane. What?
Cams.
What?
What? I'm not quite sure why people didn't know about it, but Cams let everyone know on Sunday morning. There's another guilty verdict.
Well, thank God we don't have to talk about DJR Team Penske anymore because. So which team is it?
Phil.
What?
You remember they took the engines off DJR Team Penske?
Yeah, but everything was all right, right? Everything was all right?
No.
Oh.
No, illegal. Illegal engine. Qualifying engine.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. All right.
So we are going to talk about that.
Righto. And we're going to talk about lots of other things as well.
And Gav Condit. Well, we are going to talk about other things.
Okay.
We've got a great show lined up tonight.
We do.
And we've been working hard in the background and organising a lot of stuff. And,
yeah, we have really. It just doesn't look like it.
and we have. There's lots of videos, lots of good stuff.
Yeah, as usual.
So buckle up and enjoy the ride because it's going to get good. And but we should start off, Phil.
Yep.
And Rob will put this gentleman up.
Yep.
Very sad news. Extremely
sad news. Mike Raymond passed away, age 76. There was a service for him today in Sydney. A mighty bloke. Where do we start? I don't really feel like I'm qualified to talk about all the things he did in Speedway because I'm not a Speedway guy. I'm a circuit guy. But Mike Raymond helped so many people in the sport. His was the team that developed Racecam. So every time you've seen an in-car camera, on-bike camera, in any form of motor racing, that all originated from ATN Sydney on his watch. Channel 7, of course, ATN Sydney was a part owner of the Bathurst 1000 race. He drove that event to greater and greater heights. And Mike was one of the people who drove the move to put V8s back in touring cars back in the 1990s, before they became supercars. He was a friend and a confidant to many people in the sport. And since he walked away from that part of the sport when Channel 7 was no longer part of the broadcast arrangements for quite a while there, he still maintained his links with the sport. I used to talk to him on the phone. I remember doing some one-shot magazines for Auto Action 3 or 4 years ago and spoke to him several times. He was inducted in the Bathurst 1000 Hall of Fame last year. Fantastic guy, big supporter of the sport, big supporter of the fans. It was always all about the fans coming first with Mike Raymond, and they were the most important people in the sport. And our deepest sympathies go to his many, many friends around the sport, his family, of course. And he's a man who will be sorely missed by lots and lots of people, including us too.
He certainly will. And I had very little to do with Mike Raymond when I came along, but I did meet him and did get to have a couple of discussions with him. He was a terrific guy, and just as a fan, a motorsport fan at home as a kid and growing up as a young adult, really appreciated. And I, went into commentary, Phil. That's where we both sort of started. I really appreciated the work that he did, and very sad. So condolences to his family and closest friends. And motorsport in Australia is all the better for his contribution, significant contributions.
Yep, absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
He will be missed.
Yep. Terrific guy. We'll miss you, Mike. What's happening in the Rally Oz?
Well,
not much.
No. So, obviously, there's a lot of fires going on around in Australia, and last night, or this morning, they made the decision, Philip, to cancel Rally Australia. And Andrew Papadopoulos. Rob, can we just roll the first clip there, please, mate?
Okay, well, believe we're having trouble with our audio. Andrew Papadopoulos from CAM, soon to be rebranded, of course, as Motorsport Australia, making the announcement that it was actually two stages of the announcement. First, that the Australian Rally Championship round wouldn't be proceeding, and then the World Rally Championship. Of course, the cars and the all the equipment and the teams already in Australia, already having made that long trip from Europe. But there's nothing much they could do. Human life comes first. A terrible situation in large parts of New South Wales and Queensland. So, yep, not much we can do about that. Unfortunately, let's hope everybody stays safe, and Rally Australia will go on sometime in the future, and the World Rally Championship will reboot and come back to our shores in 2020.
No, it's not, is it?
I think so.
I thought they got dropped off the calendar.
Did they?
I think so.
Okay, all right. Maybe somebody can tell us on the Facebooks. Isn't that live?
I'm not a huge rally person.
Neither am I.
Dale Rogers has chiped in. Phil, will you mention that extraordinary picture of Retro Phil with a sleeping journalist at Sandown as seen in the Race Talk Power Rankings?
No, we're just friends. There was no sleeping going on. We were just friends.
Were you sleeping somewhere?
No, not me. I wasn't sleeping.
Really?
Certain veteran motorsports writer might have nodded off during the Sandown 500. And somebody was rude enough.
Which one?
Might have been Racefax.
I thought he'd retire.
Well, he did for about 15 minutes during the Sandown 500.
Yeah. Are we right on the audio there, Rob the Apprentice?
Yeah, let's
try it again.
Let's have a bit of it.
Well, all right.
We're just making this up as we go along, folks.
It is sad that we've had to finish this event this way, but I think the important thing is that we've got to make sure that all our competitors, our officials, our community is safe, and this is why we've had to cancel it.
Well, there you go. It worked. Philip.
This is driving me to drink, folks.
What are you having?
I might have...
Furphy?
It says beer.
Right.
I've heard about it. I've heard good things. What have you got? Nothing at the moment. We encourage you to have a drink.
I've got an old mate.
You don't have any old mates. Come on, be honest.
Righto. Now we're going. Great things in World Motorsport. This is World Motorsport, the World Land Speed record, and it doesn't matter whether you like cars or not, or racing or not.
Yeah.
The World Land Speed record is boys' stuff.
It is.
And girls now.
And girls.
And transgenders and everyone. But it is boys' own stuff. Let's go to the videotape, please, Rob, from South Africa. This was this week, or on the weekend. So the Bloodhound Land Speed record car breaking 500 miles per hour. Let's have a little listen to it as it goes down.
Fantastic. Up there in the Northwest Cape, wearing my Bloodhound hat because guess what? I've been there. Bloodhound.
Well,
I was there.
Actually heard that you'd been there, Phil.
Yep, I was passing on a few tips. They felt like there was something holding them back because this project's been going on for a decade. They thought there was a few problems, so they brought me in to have a bit of an audit, bit of a look there. Gave me the cap,
and
I identified the problem.
Let's just show the problem. If we can show the next picture, please. There's the problem.
That fat bloke was the problem.
Now, that's at the Bloodhound headquarters.
Yeah, before they moved it, there was a change of ownership in December. This was middle of last year, and this is in Bristol in the UK, and that is out of a Eurofighter. That's one that here's one we prepared earlier, and it's got a jet engine out of a Eurofighter. Or they could have used a rocket engine, and they did because it's got both, but they haven't fired up the rocket engine yet.
Why wouldn't you, though? Well, I mean, if you're going for a world land speed record, which it currently is, what, high 700 and something?
770 or something like that.
Right. Broke the speed of sound in 1997 with Andy Green driving.
Yep.
In Nevada.
Yep.
BlackRock, I think.
African-American rock, yeah.
Yep. And it's 1997, 22 years ago.
Yep. Andy Green.
And now, although they're probably shying away from it, but the original stated target was for 1,000 miles per hour.
Yeah, they're not taking it that far. That was 500. They've hit 510, by the way. That run we saw then was 501. They ran 200 today, about 90 minutes ago, testing the air brakes. Would you like 2 carbon fibre doors? They open at high speed. They can't even open those above 700 miles an hour. So it's air brakes first, then parachute. They ran 200 this morning. They were going to attempt to run 550 miles an hour, and I love that it's miles an hour this afternoon. And they've had a technical problem with the sensor, and they've parked it for the day. They'll run tomorrow.
Damon Banks has chimed in online and said, was that a sonic boom, and what speed does that happen? Well, sonic booms, and to break the speed of sound, the actual speed varies depending on the altitude and the atmospheric conditions. So, but they did break the speed of sound in 1997. So that was the first official time it had been done by a car on land.
Yeah.
And this year is to not only break the sound barrier, but to, as I said, they're probably shying away from a little bit at the moment, but 1,000 miles per hour was the first target. They just want to reset the land speed record, and I think if they go well over $800...
$800?
800 miles per hour.
More than that, Chad.
$800, they'll be right. Bruce Mitchell, have I missed the Bathurst DJR segment on the Motorsport?
Not yet.
No.
Also, while we mention it, there is another land speed record attempt going on. There's an Irish team going for the land speed record. They're going to try and break the speed of light. And when I asked them how they were going to do that, they said, we're going to do it at night.
You're fucking...
Still got it. Still got it, folks.
Oh, my God.
Sacked engineer. What else we got?
What else?
What else can we make a mess of?
Let's go. Great news. We're on the good news stories at the moment. Let's go to this. Wayne Rainey.
Yes.
The three-time 500cc world champion, won the titles in 1990, 91, 92, was leading the championship in 1993, and unfortunately at Misano, the Italian Grand Prix, had an accident and became a paraplegic. For the first time in 26 years, last week he jumped back on the bike. Let's roll that videotape, please, Rob.
Fantastic.
And I must admit, just watching that, and I've had the pleasure of meeting Wayne when we were at Motorsport News.
Yeah.
Actually, he had a book signing in the city, and I went in with Tony Glenn and went and got a book signed. Let's hear what he had to say after the ride.
Yeah, it was quite an experience not having ridden in 26 years, and riding around the first couple laps was just so strange. The acceleration, just the way I felt on the bike. So I took a little break and went out again, and then everything felt right at home the second time. So 26 years is a long time to be off one, and then to jump on an R1 was made me feel young again.
Made me feel young again.
Yeah. Amazing guy. So modest. There's a story I saw in an interview. He's speaking to an interviewer, and he lives not far from Laguna Seca in California. And after his hospital stay and some of his rehab, he was brought home, and he was taken from the car, from the van in his wheelchair and wheeled towards his house. And his next door neighbour, who'd been there for several years, said, "Oh my God, Wayne, what happened?" And Wayne said, "Oh, I've had an accident. And I can't walk anymore." And the guy said, "What sort of accident did you have?" And he said, "When I was racing a motorcycle." And his next door neighbour said to him, "Did you race motorcycles?" Three-time world champion.
Three-time world champion.
Next door didn't know. We talk about inspirations, but he is just a marvel, that bloke.
It's great to have everyone's company here for the Motorsport Show. This is episode 16. Clive Smith, Pete from the Pits, has tuned in for the very first time.
Hello.
Welcome, Clive. And
Hello,
we've got you. He says, "Fuck Branners, your jokes still haven't improved." You're right.
Hey, at least we don't have... did Slim Borgood ever show up for lunch? I'm sorry, that's an in-joke. Clive, send us a message. Did he ever make it to lunch?
Tony Fleming, far from a car, he's saying about the Bloodhound LSR.
Yep.
Well, it's got wheels on it.
Yeah.
Jake Adard said that's an airplane. LOL.
I tell you what, it looks like a Van Diemen Formula Ford that's about 4 times the size with a jet engine in the back. It's an amazing piece of kit.
Ty Friels.
Look online.
Online. Hello, Ty. Great to have you back again. And we've got lots of viewers, which is terrific. Now, let's have a look at this. Big news during the week. We're on the feel-good stories before we get into...
Yes, we are.
Bathurst, Bill.
Uh-huh. We should be.
What about this? Juju Noda, the 13-year-old Japanese girl
yes.
who drove an F4 car at 10, drove an F3 car at 11,
Yep.
has been announced as that she will contest the Danish Formula 4 Championship next year at 14.
Fantastic.
And the French one.
Do we have vision?
Let's have a look at Juju. Here she is, 13 years old. This is when she's built the... Now, that's her dad. What's his name? Mr. Noda.
Hideki Noda.
Hideki Noda. And she's in the Mickey House Club.
Yep. MIKKUHOUSE. KU real soon. She drove a Formula 3 car. There's been vision. It was almost 2 years ago since there was video of her driving a Formula 3 car. Fast.
Yeah, she's
and
fast.
A lot of people close to Formula 1 have been deliberately damping down the story because they don't want to put too much pressure on it because she's only a kid. And Hideki says if she wants to quit and go ride horses or if she gets boyfriends or whatever, that's fine. But she does appear to be a prodigy. So remember the name, Noda. N-O-D-A.
Juju
Noda.
Juju Noda.
In the Danish Formula 4 Championship next year. Brought to you by Apple, I suppose.
Danish Apple Danishes?
Yeah, I suppose. Why not? Have you heard of it?
Fill up.
What? Blackberry?
Danish apples. Apple Danish. Now, big news. Let's go local. Are
What's
we
that?
at the Bathurst yet? No, not yet.
Aren't we?
No, and everyone's saying, Darren Williams is saying, are you doing a review of last weekend's supercars? Yes, we are. And we're going to do a bit of a review of Bathurst as well. But big news during the week, Philip. Big news.
Yeah.
Last week.
Yeah.
Simona Di Silvestre.
Oh,
there she is.
Okay.
Harvey Norman.
Yes.
She has Harvey Norman about next year.
What's that?
No interest.
For 20 months?
No interest in supercars at all. She's not going to race.
Are you trying to say she's confirmed she's not competing next year?
She has. I know you tried to confirm it 8 weeks ago here on the show.
Okay, righto.
I know you did confirm
Well,
it.
it's just a rumour at that stage, and of course rumours aren't correct, are they?
No. And but you have confirmed it.
Yeah.
And she has agreed with you.
Okay, good.
So-
Okay. So,
Which
Robbie?
is what not I normally do with you.
No, I know. Robbie, can we run to... Can we run the highlights, please? Can we run her 3 years in supercars highlights?
Okay, there's the picture. Rob,
run highlights.
No highlights. Nothing.
There's no what?
You got her picture up there. What do you mean?
There's no highlights.
There's no highlights. Oh, okay.
Hang on. Hang on. There's no highlights of Simona's supercars career?
No budget, no highlights.
Okay.
No highlights?
No highlights. Okay.
I don't know if it's for a lack of budget.
Well, 2 wildcard drives at Bathurst, one with Ford Performance Racing back in the day and one with Nissan Motorsport. And they weren't that successful. And then a 3-year deal with Harvey Norman. And look, good on Harvey Norman for supporting motor racing. But with 3 years down the track, best result 7th at Pukekohe in the lead up to the Bathurst 1000. And really, based on her results, you would have to say that it hasn't really been a success, but she's moving on to pastures anew with Porsche in Formula E as a test driver.
Formula E. Now, I would say, Philip,
Yeah.
what good.
Yeah.
Now, Simona Di Silvestre is a terrific driver.
Yep.
Been on a podium or close to a podium in IndyCar.
Yep.
She's a terrific open-wheel driver.
Yep.
What did the experiment achieve by bringing an international female driver into the championship? It excited some girls, but what have we done if the series really wanted a full-time female driver in it? And what have we done to ensure that young girls are coming up and being able to race competitively? Not just through karting, which many do successfully now.
Yeah.
But what have we done? Like Courtney Prince, 16 or 17 years old in Formula Ford. Have we given her a leg up? What have we done?
You would have to say based on the results and over 3 years of full-time racing and 2 wildcards, the expenditure's probably been somewhere in the ballpark of $4.5 million over the 3 years. We're no closer to having a full-time professional driver, a female driver, challenging for top 10 results on a consistent basis than we were 3 years ago. And I would have liked to have seen an Australian driver in this role, but the sponsors can spend their money however the heck they like. Yeah. But I would love to see a female driver ready to race in supercars, and that means coming up through something like Carrera Cup or Super 2 or even TCR these days. I'd love to see that progression to the same level as Molly Taylor has done in rallying, because Molly Taylor is a terrific role model for any driver, male or female. Very fast, very dedicated, and absolute professional.
And multi-time Australian rally champion. I've got a comment offline, a text message from a very accomplished team owner who says she was in the wrong team, and she is a very good driver.
Maybe she was. We
100%.
Yeah, and we don't know because she was in the same team environment all the way through. There was a discussion about her going and driving a Triple Oak car. We know that now. She's confirmed that. We knew that already, and we never got to see that. So look.
But really, the series, and Harvey and Norman,
Katie Page,
I would have liked to have seen a bit of development money go to a couple, identify a couple of younger girls that are showing how good they are, and help them along and bring them along as well. And I mean, I am, women's sport is a big thing, and I'm not against it. But motor racing, it's where women and men can compete successfully. Yep. And me being a drag racing fan, Shirley Muldowney won the 1977 NHRA Top Fuel World Championship. Well, didn't
we have three major Top Fuel Championships in the world all won by women in the same year?
Yeah, they were concurrently. Yeah, over in Europe it was Anita Michaela. In the United States it was Brittany Force, and in Australia it was Kelly Betts. And Kelly, unfortunately, has lost her ride after last year, 2 years in Top Fuel, a first and a second in the championship, a number of national event wins, the quickest and fastest Australian female ever. Unfortunately, she's out of a Top Fuel ride and now back in modified eliminator. So, definitely support women and girl drivers, but you'd like to see like Courtney Prince, who's running around in the Formula Fords and that, maybe get a hand up and identify some others. But then you also look to Leanne Tander and a few other women around. Like Leanne Tander won the Formula Ford Championship, capable driver, never got the support. Yeah,
and her opportunities were really limited, and we never saw 10 years later, and this is the argument I always get thrown back when I make these comments, that which is fair enough, but it's the long-term effect that I don't look at, because it takes 10 years. There'll be some girl, 10, 12, 13, in karting, inspired by Simona, and she'll arrive in 10 years' time and she'll be a professional racing driver. But I don't see those people arriving in supercars or ready for supercars now, inspired by Leanne. I don't see them inspired 20 years ago plus by Karen Brewer and Melinda Price in the Cougars. I'd like to see somebody as good as Sue Ransom back in motor racing. I've been waiting a long time.
Terry Sawyer.
I hope it's not. I hope it's not another 20 years, because I don't know if I'll be here in 20 years.
Terry Sawyer.
Let's hope it's
the first ever winner of an Oscar race at the Calder Park Thunderdome. The first Oscar race.
Yeah, absolutely.
In February 1988.
You got a better memory than me.
And
so look, good luck to Simona with her new deal. Will she be back as an endurance driver? She said she might be. If she can raise a budget, I guess she might be. What's next?
Derek Gillespie. Danica Patrick was one of the body interviewed at every event after the champion local hero. Didn't use her as well as they should have. I think Danica Patrick got a really bloody good run, actually.
Driving a Hendrick car all those years and driving for Tony Stewart.
She NASCAR wasn't her cup of tea.
No, it wasn't.
And look, it probably appears as though supercars wasn't Simona's thing as well, because she is a world-class driver, there's no doubt about it. Melinda Price is very good and raced in the 90s. Melinda Price and Karen Brewer have the highest finish, I think, at Bathurst for a female pairing. I think they finished 11th or 12th.
Yeah.
So, more than capable, very good drivers. Very, very good drivers.
Yep. Anyway.
More news. Scotty Pye.
Oh, yeah, my favourite kind of pie. Oh, my God, he's hugging Charlie forklifts. What's happened there?
Well, I think he's confirmed what we might have already confirmed about 5 or 6 weeks ago, Phil.
That he's going to, not far from here, right across the road almost.
Is it? Where is it? Round the corner.
Just around the corner.
So, big news.
We're 5 minutes from Sandown, by the way, folks.
There's a bit of chat that DeWalt Tools will be joining that team as major sponsor of the second car.
I've heard that.
The same part of the Stanley
and of course
organisation. But then I heard that the DeWalt Tools wasn't going to happen. So, but Charlie says he's got a sponsor, so maybe it is.
It could be DeWalt Disney. No, Visa will be involved. VISA. Simon Hardwidge. He supported Pie for a while. I don't know whether there'll be a name sponsor, but second Triple Eight car coming to that too.
Hi, Ty. He says, hi, bro. Renee Gracie, Emma Duggan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Renee Gracie?
Mendy
Really?
Fry won a Nostalgia Top Fuel. Thanks, Scotty Betts.
What did Renee Gracie win?
Rochelle Splatt, nothing. Dave Harding, my daughter Ella is turning 3. If I save $1 a day, she can race billy carts when she's 15.
The only billy cart that most...
You're a deal doer, Dave.
Most should be interested in is that fine brand of French champagne.
Tony Heasley says, we don't have any women in Australia that are the same level as our guys. Well,
maybe we do.
Leanne Tander, I'm not going to say she's in the twilight of her career, Jesus. Leanne Tander hopefully gets a full-time TCR drive next year.
I would like to see that.
And it'd be terrific to see her get that, and I think you'd find that she would be mixing it up with plenty of them.
I hope she doesn't run into Garth again like she did.
Yeah, that was funny.
Not that she ran into it.
Morris Allen says, put Kelly Betts in a supercar.
I have to. Great. I don't have one.
How do you think she'd go on the turning left and right?
Don't think she does that.
As Joe Mardo said, I don't have to turn man, I'm a drag racer.
I'm a drag racer. What's next?
The big news of last week, Phil.
Yeah.
The huge news.
Yeah.
What are you down for? What are you down for?
I'm staying calm, folks.
The big news.
Yes.
Penske buys Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yep.
Let's roll the bit of vision. We could talk over the top of it. I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning and watched the press conference.
I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning most days, but that's my age.
Roger Penske, Tony George, and the gentleman who runs the IndyCar Championship. So Mr. Penske has purchased the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yep.
Obviously the Indy 500 event itself. IndyCar, the Championship, and also Indy Productions, or the Indy Motor Speedway, IMS Productions.
Which is very significant.
Oh, huge.
That's the complete history and the IP of the series going back to the year dot.
Yeah,
and the 500.
And he is Roger Penske, 18 IndyCar or Indy 500 wins.
Yep.
He is now the custodian
Yeah.
of the greatest spectacle in motor racing.
And could it have gone to a better person? Could it have gone to anybody who would be more unanimously applauded for buying this? And of course, the risk was if it was on the market that some venture capitalist would have walked in and stripped the place down and split it up into its components and sold it off and made a bunch of money without giving two shits about whether it's going to survive in the future or not. But Roger Penske's not like that. He is just about the perfect person to buy this, isn't he?
Without a doubt, he is the perfect custodian, and he now has stewardship, is words he kept using. And Jake Wilco chimes in and says, good to see the 150K didn't hurt him. No,
probably not. He's got 68,000 employees. I don't think 150K is going to... It's a lot of money to you and me. Much the Penske Corp.
Jake was a bit worried that it hurt his pockets. Yeah, only because if he had it in coins, it would have been very heavy. But he normally would have that in a big wad going around.
But a remarkable bloke. And when the news broke, one of the people I follow on Twitter is a F1 journalist named Simon Strang, who said that it's the only time he's ever been starstruck in motor racing when he met Roger Penske. And you know what? When he's in Australia, and I know him to say hello to. I don't know him well. But he doesn't come across as intimidating. I'm sure if you do business with him, he might. But he seems to be, and I don't want this to come out in a negative tone, he seems to be folksy. He seems to be approachable. He seems to be...
And he said, hey, why don't you get out of my way?
Sure. No, he's not like that. Look, it's a great thing. He's 82 years old. He will be standing down from the pit wall. He won't be calling strategies in the races anymore because he'll be concentrating on the customer experience, which is pretty much the mantra of everything that Penske touches.
Oh, geez. I'll tell you what, Phil, we're about to get into some interesting territory. Tony Fleming said, why wouldn't Penske buy a track? He just bought Bathurst on the fastest lap. Mark Creek said after he thinks he bought Bathurst. Oh,
no. Come on, people. Be nice.
But Phil, you look a little bit parched there. Hang on, talking about Bathurst.
Yeah.
Big news during the week.
Yes.
Well, it wasn't big news during the week. It was kept secret, Phil.
What was kept secret?
Secret. The team, DJR Team Penske, were charged with using an illegal engine at the recent Bathurst 1000. Don't tell anyone.
Okay.
It was announced after weeks of secrecy, a week and a half of secrecy, that the qualifying motor in the number 17, which was used by Scott McLaughlin to win both provisional pole and the top 10 shootout and set 2 qualifying and practice records.
Yeah.
Had 5 cylinders where the maximum valve lift was exceeded.
Yep.
Now, they took that engine out of the car on Saturday night with permission of the head of Motorsport of supercars, as per the regulations, and they swapped it.
Yep. After qualifying, after the shootout.
After the shootout.
Yep.
But that motor was taken to Craig Hasted's facility in Queensland,
along with the race engine that came out of 17, and 4 other engines.
The other 2 podium
6 in total.
finishes.
Yeah, 6 in total.
So the 97 and the 22. So Garth Tander and Shane Van Gisbergen, the Red Bull Holden Racing Team Commodore, and the Appliances Online.
Yep.
Commodore of James Courtney and Jack Perkins.
Yep.
Now those engines, or those 3 engines, were fine, but the qualifying record, the qualifying motor for the number 17 was illegal, and the team faced a hearing in secrecy at Sandown on Saturday
morning at 10, I believe.
Now, what I find interesting about this, and you're feeling a little bit down there, Phil. I think you need a drink.
No, I'm fine. What have you got? What have you got? Lift.
Just a little bit of lift.
Just a little bit of lift.
Just a little bit of lift.
3 cylinders or 5?
It's punching out on all 5.
Right.
So it's only just give yourself a little bit of lift.
I've actually got a bit of beer over here, so I'm fine, thanks.
So
yeah.
The team was charged and faced a hearing. Now, the head of Penske Motorsport, Tim Cindric, obviously was informed earlier.
Yes.
Jumped straight on the plane.
Yep.
Came over, replaced Ben Croak, who normally is the assistant team representative, I believe.
Yeah.
And with Ryan Story, the team MD, and they faced a hearing.
Yes.
And while not conceding that the engine went into the car in illegal spec, they conceded that the car ran in qualifying and in the top 10 shootout, breaching the technical regulations.
It did. That's what happened. And as a result, they've been fined $30,000, $15,000 of which I believe has been suspended and disqualified. And now Chaz
disqualified from qualifying.
That's right. There's no suggestion.
And the top 10 shootout.
Yeah, the race engine passed muster.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So we need to establish that, and there are some procedural things we need to talk about, because there's some funny ideas about the way these things are done out there, and we need to be absolutely certain that people understand.
Now, the internet dickheads have gone off. Some of these absolute morons online that cannot accept that the team was found guilty, regardless of intent. The team was found guilty of using an illegal engine.
Yep.
Now, this comes on top of the team orders issue, well, not the team orders as such, but where the same team ordered Fabian Coulthard to slow down and destroyed the chances of 4 or 5 cars in a race and protected the position of Scott McLaughlin on the track, which a hearing assumed wasn't done for that. But everyone up and down pit lane is.
Yeah, the stewards report actually said that wasn't done to it. They didn't believe that was done to influence.
No, they
the result.
assumed.
But anyway,
so
let's go back to this matter.
Now on that, on the assumption, they didn't call anyone to give evidence as to what may have happened or what was happening
with the engine.
No, with the other thing to start with.
Right. Well, what if we stick to this one?
So
yeah,
as part of that, it's fair to say, when pit lane found out about the breaches and what happened on Saturday morning, it went berserk.
Yes. Okay.
Correct? You were there.
Yes. Many people were unhappy. I wouldn't say everybody was unhappy. I didn't get to speak to everybody, but there are a lot of unhappy people out there.
The internet's broken.
No, it's not. It's working fine.
Yeah, now. The internet broke. Apparently they had Debris in there. Oh, thank you, everyone that purchased a T-shirt. I've emailed you all today. Limited stock, limited by how many people bought them, and it was quite good.
Good.
Hang on, I'll just get rid of a bit of lift.
Good. Just move that lift. Get that down under 710 lift.
So the team has gone into the race.
Yes.
Should have been starting from rear of grid.
No.
Should have been, if it had been detected earlier.
How was it going to be detected earlier? They're not going to pull a motor apart.
But they were disqualified. They're disqualified.
From qualifying 2 weeks later. Of course they were.
And now we have a situation where a car that qualified nowhere leads the first lap and wins the race.
Well,
how is history going to explain that?
With an asterisk. But how
That's the problem.
How do you put the toothpaste back in the tube? No, nobody knew on Sunday morning.
What toothpaste? What's that?
Nobody knew on Sunday morning that was an illegal engine that had come out of the car and qualified.
No, I realise that.
No one had the chance.
I realise that.
So it's a moot point. And for all the people who are going to say, oh, but the car wouldn't have made it through. Well, in 2014, we saw 2 cars that started from the back row of the grid fighting out the win. We don't know what was going to happen. Do we?
Who started on the back row of the grid?
Mostert and, Paul Morris and Jamie Whincup.
Did Whincup start down there?
Yeah, of course he did.
Did he?
Read the race report in Auto Action. It's pretty good.
No, but it's fair to say, and it's understandable that there's a lot of people upset.
There is a lot of people upset, and I think a lot of people have their noses out of joint, and justifiably so, with the mechanism by which this was delivered. If the news dropped on Tuesday afternoon, I don't understand why it wasn't announced on Wednesday after Melbourne Cup, because Tuesday was a public holiday in Melbourne, that there was a problem with the engine and it was going to be dealt with at Sandown by the stewards. I don't get
Absolutely.
that.
Why was it kept
You're the
secret?
PR guy. Is that PR-wise disaster?
I think I can't understand why it was kept secret from Tuesday through to Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Why weren't the teams told as a minimum that something had gone on?
Yeah.
And what's now happened is that because of what originally happened at Bathurst, and there's a lot of teams that have expressed, and it's not just Holden teams.
Yeah.
It's the Ford teams as well, and Ford drivers have expressed their disappointment, their disgust at what went on in the race on lap 135.
Yeah.
So they're pissed off to start with.
They are.
And so now they're even more pissed off that this was even kept secret from them, right?
Yeah.
Now, some people go, why did it take so long to dyno the engines and all of that? Well, I asked Supercars for an official answer and I didn't get one. But the fact is that they did the race engines first.
Yeah.
The Gold Coast was impeding on them all.
You're correct.
And they had to wait until after the Gold Coast, and that's when they did it.
Everybody's absolutely flat out at this time of year anyway. So look, the timeline, I don't have a problem with that part of the timeline. The part I have a problem with, and I'm not throwing darts at DJ Team Penske because I don't know what they had to do with the decision making process. But if the information was available to announce on Wednesday morning, I don't know why they waited until Sunday morning. By doing things in secrecy, it makes them look worse.
It makes them look like now. People say, no, but there was no intent. The fact is, the rules say that you must present a legal car at all times.
Yeah,
there's not, but it was going to blow up.
There's 700 thou of lift in the regulations, and there's a 10 thou, as I understand it, as it was explained to me by someone who knows a lot more about this than I do.
Correct.
There's a 10 thou margin for error, if you like. And this was over that 713 or 715 or two of the numbers that are being bandied around. But clearly, and there's some people are saying there's some discrepancy so far as the measuring is concerned in this, whether there was devices used. I don't know why a team would measure its engine internals using a different methodology to what the scrutineers would use in this particular case. But anyway, that's something. I'm not an engine guy. But intent doesn't really matter. It's either within the lines or it's not. In this particular case, 5 cylinders, the valve lift was on the wrong side of the line.
My thing now, and knowing that last Monday morning, I got up, or Tuesday morning, Australian time, I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning to tune into the live stream of the announcement of Penske purchasing the IndyCar Series and in Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the Great Race. Having been to Indy 3 or 4 times for the 500 and knowing what a wonderful race it is, my issue now is that was a huge day for motorsport, not only in the US but around the world. And with Penske with his 18, Roger Penske with his 18 hard-fought Indy 500 wins, it's like we've just discussed. It was fitting that he becomes the custodian of it.
Yep.
But what really gets me now is that DJR Team Penske have won our great race in the most controversial way. They've done it with the 18, the number 12 Mustang slowing the entire field and ruining the chances of a number of teams. They've then had, and they denied that they intended to help Scott with that, but they issued it, and they know what went on. Now, the engine's now been found to be illegal in the qualifying engine for the 18. What would Roger Penske say if Michael Andretti at the Indy 500 now had 3 cars in the race, and there was an incident, and he told one car to slow down and slow the field to protect the position of another one?
I don't know. I don't know what he'd say.
And what would he say if that car was later found to have an illegal engine in it from qualifying and actually probably shouldn't have been in the race, but actually went on to win it, and Michael Andretti still had his hand on the Borgwater trophy?
I don't know.
Well, you know, as a custodian, and you want to protect the integrity of a championship, the integrity of a world-famous race, you wouldn't allow a team to do that.
Okay.
And in my opinion, and Roger Penske said it himself, he's going to step down from operating on the pit box for the IndyCar races, something that he does, he strategises with the team and loves to do. He would be very, very upset if someone did that to his team and the great race, because all of a sudden the integrity of that race and that championship is in question. And I think, now this is a big call, Phil.
Okay.
I think Mr. Penske, if he's interested in the integrity of the Australian Championship, should consider, after his team has been found guilty on 2 major accounts, of handing back the Peter Brock Trophy.
Okay, you're right. That is a big call.
And no winner declared for 2019. Now, I know Scott McLaughlin's drinks probably come through his nose as he's gasped and coughed at that. And Scotty perhaps wouldn't know about what went on. But the fact is that there's dark clouds over the 2019 Bathurst 1000. And it's irreparable damage to his victory. His and Alex Premer's victory. And realistically, you cannot say, I won the race fair and square, and then label your competitors in the paddock area as toxic because they've been fucked over at the race.
Okay, that is a strong view. My view is I've got no reason to think that Scotty certainly had nothing to do with the engine. I don't know what role he had, if any, in anything that happened during the race with the other car. I do know that he did use that word toxic in an interview in a New Zealand radio station, and and
in an Australian interview.
And he's also suggested that he's going to start to distance himself from some of the people in the pit lane. That would be disappointing. I hope he doesn't do that. Look, I'm not his dad. I'm not going to give him any sort of advice, but I hope that he stays involved in that. There's obviously a great deal of respect for him. There's obviously a great deal of affection for him in the paddock and amongst the fans. We saw SVG stop when he had that crash in qualifying on the Gold Coast. So there's a kinship there. I hope nothing happens that drives a wedge between those sorts of feelings people have. But right now, look, the one thing I will agree with is in the pit lane, there's not much of an appetite for the rest of the season. People just want this to be over. It's going to be awkward in Newcastle after Newcastle for the awards night because the Bathurst 1000 trophy is traditionally handed out, and it's going to be muted. It's going to be really muted.
If Mr. Penske can't see that for the integrity of the thing to hand it back, if the team want to hang on to the Peter Brock Trophy, supercars, I could tell them, don't present it at the gala on the Monday night after Newcastle.
Well, yeah. I don't know what's going to happen. I do know what's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of people holding their phones up broadcasting what's going on.
Stephen Milkovic says there's no performance gain. What's the big sook?
Yeah,
Stephen, the car was illegal. It's as simple as that. And if the car is illegal, it was disqualified. They were found guilty. They accepted that they were guilty of running an illegal car. Simple, regardless of what the performance is.
And the performance gain argument has never worked in motor racing. I'm sorry, don't go there. It just doesn't work. You're never going to win with that argument. Think of something else.
Oh, it's just. I mean, the Ford fans have really spat it.
If it says 700 and they allow 710 and it reads at 713, the performance gain doesn't matter.
7135 on 5 cylinders. That's 60-odd% of the engine.
Yep.
And about the engine's being unbalanced. Well, it was 5 cylinders. So anyway, let's.
What's next?
Supercars Tech Department. I believe we've got a comment from them.
Where are they?
My message is that we'll be watching you.
I'll be watching.
That's Juju Noda's crew chief.
It is.
In the Danish championship. Is she Danish?
Hey, Robbie. Actually, I think we'll jump the next two clips, mate, because actually the next 3 clips.
Okay.
We'll jump the next 3 clips. Go to the next image, please, mate.
What are we doing? But you're just biased. Who the hell's that?
That's my dad and his Mustang.
Is it?
He won that in a raffle.
He did not.
He did.
He did. What?
He did. He won it in a raffle.
Really?
Yeah, that's my dad. He died when we were in China.
His
last words to me before we left were, "Can you bring me back 6 dim sims and some fried rice?" So every year on the 10th of June, I have 6 dim sims and fried rice.
True story. It was very sad. We were over there in China for the Shanghai Supercar race.
Unfortunately, Phil, you got a car at some time.
That's right.
And I love my dad. He introduced me to motorsport and the car industry, and was a ripper bloke. That was actually that Mustang. If you can bring it up again, please, Robbie. Can we go back to the Mustang? There it is. He came with the optional engine as well.
Yeah.
Had more lift.
Sorry.
Yep. And he had a mate who had a car exactly the same.
Yeah.
That would always drive 46 seconds behind him just to keep the other cars away from rear-ending him.
Pete from the pits, you think I've got bad jokes.
It's not a joke, it's true. Right.
Can we, Robbie, commercial break, please. I need a break.
I told you before, I'm a control freak, so I'd never put myself in a situation I couldn't control. That's why I love the new VX Commodore with anti-lock braking system, standard across the whole range. ABS helps prevent your brakes from locking, which gives you more steering control in dangerous situations. Commodore with ABS standard. Drive on.
Little known fact about that commercial. That was a Russell Eagle in that car, driving in the wet.
Nice smile.
It was a nice smile.
There you go.
Did a good job on the weekend, I reckon. Did a good job explaining all that on very short notice, because Scapey was explaining that steward's report only 5 minutes after it came out. Boy, how did he get that done in 5 minutes?
Yeah, it's amazing.
What's next?
More air, more fuel, more power. What do you mean no gain? Yeah, people are talking about the dynoing, and they're saying that the engine was about to crap itself. Or if it was about to crap itself, did that affect the power anyway? Did it make it a bit less? I don't know. What about the torque? Is the torque as a part of the deal? I don't know. I know the horsepower.
If there really is water in the oil, I'm going to guess it doesn't not making more power or more torque.
The thing is, how many times have they done this throughout the season, said Graham Kernich? Well, the engine-wise, they've been checked many times throughout the season.
Yep. Now,
people keep going, that engine was checked, that engine's been checked, they got checked 10 times. That engine was refreshed. And we have to explain the process, because people say,
the engines are sealed.
The engines have sealed them. They don't check the engines first. The team builds the engines, and they ring up Supercars and they say, hey, Adrian or Craig or Campbell, we're going to put engine 55 in car 32 for this weekend. And they and it's just been refreshed, and they say, does it comply? Yes, it complies. Okay, we'll seal it when we get to the track on Friday or Thursday. Yep. That's what happens. So don't give us any bullshit online. That's the process. And when they check them, they do it randomly, right? So when a team pulls an engine out of a car, and engines come out every race meeting that sit on the floor, and then they'll go back in. They're sealed. But when the engine comes out of the car, if it needs to go for a refresh, they ring up Craig or Cameron, Campbell or Adrian and say, hey, we want to refresh the engine. And they will say, send that one up here because we're going to check it, or you're okay, cut the seals.
Yeah.
Right?
Depending
it's
on
all
what
logged. But before some dickheads get online and make comment, understand the process. Saves a lot of hassle.
And it's somewhat important to understand that going into the 2020 season because the engine regulations are going to be modified. The engine life is going to be longer, as long as 7,000 kilometres. So if an engine goes in on Saturday morning at Bathurst, it might not come out for inspection until March or April.
Unbelievable.
Well, it's part of the side effect of having longer life engines.
US Grand Prix, Philip.
Absolutely. Let's go Formula One racing, Robert. In Texas, Cota, where the coattails are. Look, no, I don't know what they are. Valtteri Bottas on pole position. Great to see. He is very strong around here, the young Finn, and he does go very well. Lewis Hamilton didn't have a very good qualifying session, and he had a slightly even less convincing start, except, Vettel. Over those sausage curbs and the suspension brakes, and he suddenly got 3 wheels in contact with the ground and not quite 4. And Bottas was running a very strong race. Kel Norton Jr., of course, looking very, very good on his way to what would turn out to be his 4th Grand Prix of the year, taking track position back off his teammate, running a different strategy. And Lewis Hamilton, still the hunger burns during the course of the race, asking his team on the radio, what do I have to do to get in front? Really? You can't let him win just the one race. Hard tyres go on, soft tyres go on, different strategies in play in the Mercedes-Benz garage, which, by the way, will be under slightly different management this weekend in Brazil. Change of the lead, 77 goes ahead of the 44. Lewis tries to find a way through and gets rebuffed. We're going to see a replay here. Who says there's no overtaking in Formula One? Most people. And down at the hairpin. Good crowd there in America, though, at Texas. It does continue to bring a big audience to F1, and the television figures were up as well. Bottas wins. Hamilton second. A good effort from 4th on the grid. Verstappen 3rd in the Red Bull. Albon 4th. Is that enough for him to maintain the race seat at Red Bull, or will they give it to Matthew McConaughey? No, they've actually given it to Albon, and Lewis Hamilton celebrates again. He does love this place. He does go very well. His 6th World Championship. Didn't do it with a win. He would have liked to have done it, but he did do it with an interesting hairdo. And he's now 4,000 points in front. What are you looking at on your phone?
I was just getting a text message saying supercars were asked not to piss on the Indy announcement.
Were they?
Yeah.
I don't know who that came from, so I don't know whether that's true or not, but
Andrew Frood says, not Russell Ingall in that car. Phil, I was there at the shoot. That's rubbish. He didn't say he was in the car, Frood factor. He said it was Russell Ingall standing, talking about he's a control freak.
No, I didn't say that. I was intimating he might have been in the car. Frood, who was in the car? Phil Brock does a bit of stunt driving. Okay.
It's irrelevant.
It might have been Frood. It might have been the Frood.
It's irrelevant.
The Frood is the word. The Frood is the word.
After being in Mark Creek, after being in corporate, I've found DJRT Penske to be the most arrogant compared to all others in pit lane. Well, when you're winning every race, you can afford to be arrogant.
After being in corporate?
New series next year, Penske Supercars. No, Scotty Hallinan. That's not how engines are sealed by Cam Series. Engines are sealed in the build process, Adam Hughes. No, I've just told you how it's done. I've worked in supercars for a long time, and I spoke to 2 major engine builders yesterday that supply a lot of engines. Ty Friel. Best call of the night. Tell these people the truth. Thanks, Ty. Quit whining, people. It's not just DJR Team Penske engines getting scrutinising. No. That's right. Just ask Tatey about some of the refreshed engines, says Clive Smith. Who witnessed these checks, says Dan Rupnick. Is it done in front of the team? Is this the same system that pinged Scott for speeding in pit lane, which was never proven?
No.
Oh, you moron. It was proven. Jesus Christ.
You can download the stewards report.
Get over that one.
You can download the stewards report from the CAMS website.
And DJR Team Penske engine people were standing there witnessing it.
Which is detailed in the stewards report.
In the fucking stewards report. Read the fucking thing.
Don't swear at the punters. Don't swear at the punters.
Oh, no, sometimes you just dead set come.
Anyway.
Thanks for watching anyway, Dan. We enjoy you having you here.
Hi from me, Dan.
Ty says, Adam, whoever has no idea. I hear Roger is paying all the DJR fans to winch. No, they're like Tigers Richmond supporters. Lindsay, just one instance where T8... hang on, so what's this? We've got to get through it. Agreed, David Jones, Mark White. John Evans has commented.
No, you can't.
I don't know how he's doing that.
He does it. He's amazing. He always has been.
Tony Lindsay, just one instance. Tell us, Tony, where T8 have been found to be cheating. Just one, please, surely.
Here we go. No, let's go down that.
That's yep.
Hang on a second. Back it up a bit. So hang on. Someone's suggesting that supercars were told, or Cams was told, to distance themselves from that because of the IndyCar announcement.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise
What
me.
the hell has supercars or Cams got to do with IndyCar?
No, it's about who was announcing it.
Roger Penske.
Yeah.
Why is that Cams or supercars?
Well, it's pretty much like you know in a week that you've been awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom, you don't want to be called a cheat in supercar racing, do you?
I still don't understand what it's got to do with Cams or supercars. Hey,
They would have been asked not to say anything.
Not our train set.
No, but the team can confirm or deny that. It's just someone's opinion. Someone said, how about the failure to Shane Van Gisbert's race car? Hang on, we haven't got to that bit yet. If Supercars did what F1 did...
Shane Van Gisbert's race car? Where's that on
where is Red Bull Racing Team's factory now that Holden's aren't made in Aussie anymore?
Where a Red Bull Racing Team's factory? It's near Silverstone in England. It's a Formula One team. Red Bull Holden Racing Team is just outside Brisbane.
It's in Brisbane. What's the name of that?
Sorry to be a smart ass, but get your teams right. Eh?
Start with B. Banyo. Righto. Now, let's go to some chunky stuff. Let's roll the next one, Robbie. And here we go. Craig Thornton, Toyota 86.
Oomph. That's one down for the weekend. The 86s, you have to say, have got a very strong safety package. Well done, Neil Bates and the crew in Canberra.
Look at that.
1, 2, 3. And it does show you that even though the fences have been put back at turn 6, there's still a bit of danger. Just off the track there at Sandown. Magnificent conditions, by the way, at Sandown over the weekend. What else have we got?
Now, we've got official word as to why that accident happened.
Why did it happen?
Young bloke, cold tyres, fucked up.
Yeah, and no one.
Treader tyres.
It doesn't matter whether you're a Ford or Holden or Toyota fan or what. No one can argue with that official comment. Now,
Sure they can.
Philip.
Yeah.
If you think that couldn't be exceeded,
What? What's that?
hold my beer, old mate.
You got to hold the label up to the camera.
Hold my beer, old mate, because here's the next one. Toyota 86, John Iafola. Let's roll the videotape, Robbie. And there he goes. Up, over, round, and hello, Ute.
Yeah. And look, it's easy to make light of something like that. No one was hurt. He was shaken but not stirred. He was taken to hospital and released shortly thereafter, largely unhurt.
And those Isuzus have a 3.5 ton towing capacity.
Yeah.
Although it's clear that a Toyota 86 dimensions don't fit in the back of the tray when they got because dual cap's got the shorter tray.
And thank you for calling a double AMI. If a Toyota 86 fell from the sky and destroyed the back of your ute, press 1.
Can you imagine? You know, when you have the accident, you got to write.
Yeah.
You got to get the diagram.
What was the cause of the accident?
I was sitting here, and this fucking Toyota 86 fell out of the sky.
Again, what happened?
Young bloke, cold tyres, fucked up.
Yeah, so he knows a bit about landing aircraft as old LP. So yeah, look, we make a bit of funny joke. That both drivers were okay. The cars were not.
No, and let's say that they will be a part of the next and they walked away video. So it's great to see.
Yeah.
Although Craig Thornton, I think, was a little bit sore and tender. Now, let's go to the big action at Sandown on the weekend was V8 Supercars. And for the first ever time, the qualifying races were actually official races as part of the championship. And it all got off to a bit of a funny start there. Then it started raining.
Bryce Forward, 360.
Yep.
You've seen Addison Cooper 360 on CNN. There's Bryce Forward 360. Great fight for the lead among the Mustangs and a bit of a hip shoulder there.
It keeps happening, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just keeps happening.
And Moffat, unfortunately, damaged the car and lost his steering. And a great win for Triple Eight.
And Craig Lowndes. So that was Craig's
Fantastic.
109th or 10th race win.
Yep.
Let's just keep rolling the next one, Rob. And here we go. So that was the co-driver race, but this is the main driver race. And look at the gears. SVG went way down, took out the 99 and young Andre. The big deal, he went in, he hurt the front. Jamie Whincup, unstoppable.
Yep.
Now, we have to say about that, and there was this bit here. These blokes going around and around. Here we go. Jamie Whincup takes win number
75.
17. Incredible.
562 according to a magazine in my doctor's waiting room last week.
Yeah. Now, the driving standards observer, Craig Baird, handed out a penalty
to the 97.
Yeah, no, the wrong car. No. But Beardo very quickly recognised that he made a mistake.
Yes, he did.
And people jumped online and hooked in. He said, look, he pulled the trigger a little bit too fast, but the mistakes that he has made as the DSO have been few and far between.
Correct.
And the bloke's doing a fantastic job.
I actually thought that when they announced the penalty for 99, I thought, Tim's misread that and gone, no, it should be 97. And look, SVG put his hand up. But you're absolutely right. Craig Baird, I think, most people in the pit lane say he's doing an excellent job. And as you say, he stuck his hand up straight away. And it's a little bit hard to argue with. Do you want to be right 100% of the time? Yep. Are you? Never.
Who doesn't?
So, fantastic job by Baird. And realistically, there was no hard feelings at the end of the day by those concerned.
Let's roll the next one. Thanks, Robbie. And race 30, the main one, the Sandown 500, and it was Lowndes and Whincup off the front row. Guys, a few that didn't get away at the start, created a bit of drama. Here was Luke Youlden and Dale Wood.
Yeah.
Racing incident termed, and it was, but you don't do that shit that early in the race.
No, you've got to be patient. And this is 97 had the race shot to pieces. And brilliant drive by Tander, a suspension problem in the back, and another win for Red Bull.
And Lowndes and Whincup, and their first win at Sandown together since 2008 or something.
Long time. Five, by the way, five wins for Red Bull HRT in a row.
But Garth Tander and Shane Van Gisbergen were 12 seconds up the road when they had that drama. Yep. They had come from last on the grid alongside Scott McLaughlin and Alex Prima, who had been, as a part of their Bathurst deal, had been put to the back of the grid at Sandown.
Stunning drive by Tander. Absolutely one of his best.
He handed that car over in second.
Absolutely brilliant. There were, I think, what was it, 6 or 7 cars in front of him who had made their pit stops. When the pit stop cycle started, absolutely astonishing, fantastic effort. Very low key weekend by Shell V-Power, and I'm not suggesting they did that deliberately, but there was a sense of a number of people in the pit lane saying, if it was my team, you just wanted to get the points, get it all done, don't celebrate and get out of Dodge, go home.
Lockie Mansell's chimed in and said, well done to Jeff Emery, who won his third straight Australian GT title at Sandown on the weekend.
Yep, beating them other 8 cars was fantastic.
And Jeff has now won 10 national titles of significance, and not bad for a gentleman driver, and he has, and he's a bloody good bloke.
And not his fault that the class isn't getting the support that it used to.
No. But
GTs just need a shake-up. They need someone to come in and fix it.
Let's roll an advert.
Between them, these 6 professional racing drivers have won just about everything worth winning in Australian motorsport. They came to the Ford high-speed test track today to prove a point. This is a production model 78 Falcon 500. Now, Falcon suspension is matched to high-quality steel belt radial tires and is engineered for smooth ride as well as for handling. The Falcon is now traveling at over 90 kilometers per hour. Once again. And the point we're making is that no matter how a car looks when it's driven around witches' hats, it's how a car performs when your life's at stake that really counts. We never felt better about Falcon. And Falcon never felt better.
Have you ever seen so many racing drivers shitting their pants? I think the brown flag was out at the end of that one. Murray Carter standing there saying, I'm too young to die. I hope this goes well.
And he was 85 at the time.
And Ron Dixon, Yeah.
And who was the other one?
Gossy.
Yeah.
Colin Bond.
Yeah.
Alan Moffat. By the way, Alan Moffat turned 80 on the weekend. He was out at Santa. Happy birthday, George. Arthur, fantastic.
Yes.
So, yeah, and great result for your son on the podium.
And then the last one was very young Dick.
Oh, very young. It was a very young Dick. It was a very young Dick. Thinking, oh, geez, if Zuppy had to give me a Tirana, I could have been racing in Holden for a few more years, and I wouldn't be standing here with my life on the line, my balls in my hand.
Now, the only thing, we were talking about Sandown on the weekend, the only thing, the crowd was terrible.
Yes, it was. TV ratings were fantastic.
TV ratings were good, but you got to compare apples with apples. You got to compare it with Sandown, or compare it with the same race on the same weekend last year, not Sandown, to actually probably get a bit more of. You can't say, oh, Sandown, it was way up on Sandown, because they're on different times of the year. So
that's right.
It's like with car sales, you compare same months to same months.
Yeah.
But they were good, but the crowd was down, and I'll tell you why. $108 to go in on Sunday is bloody ridiculous. Make it $54 and you'll get more than double the crowd. It was absolutely ridiculous. And it was, if you wanted to sit in the grandstand, it was another $30, which used to be free and used to be full.
Yeah.
And $108.
There's a lot of people on the fence,
so
which made the joint look full.
So if two blokes take their two teenage sons out there, it's $500 to go in the joint, walk through the paddock and sit in the grandstand.
Yeah, that is a bit expensive.
It's ridiculous.
Also, having been to both race meetings, well, number one, moving it from September didn't improve the weather. That's Melbourne, and the MotoGP now faces the same dilemma. Second thing is, having been to both race meetings, the Shannon's round in September and the Sandown 500 in November. On Friday, TCR had a bigger crowd.
I was there on Friday. I actually went out there.
I thought I recognised you.
Yeah, I went there I was only there for 2 hours. It was pissing rain. It was cold. I went next door to the Sandown Park Hotel and had a great snitter and chips. Thanks, Pete.
I left early because I wanted to go to the movies to see that new movie, The Invisible Man. Couldn't see it.
Philip.
There's a new movie coming out. There's a new version of The Invisible Man coming out.
Pete Smith once announced on Channel 9.
That's right.
Due to a change in programming, The Invisible Man will not be seen tonight.
Gerald, what's going on in drag racing?
We're going to do NASCAR first, and let's quickly roll that, please, Robbie. And it says drag racing, but it's Denny Hamlin and Ryan Blaney on the last restart started side by side to determine who would go through to the final four. And Denny Hamlin wanted to join his two Joe Gibbs Racing teammates in Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr. in there, along with Kevin Harvick. And Denny Hamlin in the number 11 FedEx Toyota Camry got out in front. Blaney didn't have the speed on the restart, and Denny Hamlin, it's 3 Camrys, go to Homestead this week to fight for the championship for Joe Gibbs Racing, along with Kevin Harvick for Tony Stewart Racing. So Toyota are just smashing them.
Yeah, they really are. They've had a great year.
They've won 18 of the 35 races so far.
Yeah.
They are absolutely smashing them.
Very
Listen,
good.
Gregory Munzer. Anyway, 100 Opals and 8 Stangs parody. Listen, Gregory. Opals. What is up with you people?
They're Peugeots, please.
Oh, strike me. I got something smart to say. It's Opals in there.
No, the Peugeots.
Mark Creek, supercars are pricing themselves out of the business. Well, they've got to stay in business, but I definitely think that they should lower the ticket prices and make it more affordable for people to get to the races.
Well, they are talking about fan engagement. So if you go to their website, there's details there of how they can get input from the fans of what you'd like to see. So tell them if you think the tickets cost too much. It doesn't cost me anything to go to a race, but if you think the tickets are too much, tell them.
Clive Smith, free in the grandstand used to be. Yes, it was. On
Absolutely.
your Davo. On your Davo. That's right. That was the old advertising call.
Yeah, thanks, Davo.
Colin Simmons, what changes for supercars next year? Any changes for the cars? Will Holden redo the Aero?
Yes.
No, they're all being redone.
Yeah, all 3 brands.
All 3 brands.
No, sorry, all 2 brands.
Yeah.
Well,
they've been reduced.
Are the Dados staying in the same Aero trim for Super 2?
I don't know, but they're no, they couldn't. They'd have to go back to what they're running now. I would suggest, which is
they're pretty damn fast over the last few races, by the way.
Yes, they've been very good. But Colin, all of the aero has been reduced on the cars by between 15 to 30 or 40%,
and longer engine life. Teams are spending lots and lots of money on new parts to make their engines last longer, so that they can save money.
Imagine the slaughter at the pub afterwards. Oh, my God. Or was that Dave Harding when I went there? It was a chicken schnitter, mate. It was bloody good too. Righto, let's go NHRA drag racing, the penultimate round of the championship. This is Friday qualifying. And look at Brittany Force.
How about a 365 and look at the speed, 338 miles an hour. Brittany Force rockets her way to the top. Brittany Force just went 338.17 miles an hour. Oh, man, that was stout.
Oh, my, 338 miles per hour. The fastest ever speed by a top fuel dragster. And she did it on the 1,000-foot racetrack, not the quarter mile, the longer quarter mile, that the previous 337-mile-per-hour record was done at.
Wow, that's really slowed them down, hasn't it?
And Aussie Dave Grubnick was the crew chief there. Let's keep rolling it. Thanks, Rob. We'll run the next four right after each other. And it's Matt Smith and Stevie Johnson in the final of Pro Stock Motorcycle. And Matt Smith took the win there. There's a couple of bikes that are going into Pomona in California this weekend. Just go straight to the next one, Rob. And now here's the final of Pro Stock. Erica Enders on the near side, Jeg Coughlin Jr. on the far side, both driving for elite performance. And Erica Enders took the win, a great win for her. The significant part about this, it was the 200th win for Camaro in Pro Stock. But it was the 100.
So happy. I'm so thrilled. I'm just trying to slow down. My dad and my sister and some of my friends really walked me through this mentally, but my team are the men that stand behind me. I thank Richard Freeman for the opportunity. Mark Ingersoll and Rick Jones, they're my boys, man. Ricky Jones and Lump as well. But for everybody that touches this car, I can't thank them enough. I give God all the glory, for it's through him I can do all things. I'm so proud of my team, Amanda.
The 150th win by a woman in professional categories in NHRA drag racing. And thank the Lord, she said.
Really?
Here we go, funny car. Good friend of mine, Johnny Lindbergh, near side, Matt Hagen, far side. Matt Hagen, back-to-back funny car wins. He is close to challenging Robert Height and the John Force for the funny car title this weekend. Let's go to the final of Top Fuel. And here we go. It was Steve Torrance and Brittany Force. Torrance, the reigning champion. 2 years ago, Brittany Force beat him to the title. She beat him here. There's Aussie Dave Grubnick, the crew chief. Everyone is pleased, happy, and Brittany was
so
really
proud of this entire
up.
team. And I'll tell you right now, we've been here before. We got the job done, and I bet you Steve is shaking in his boots right now.
Stirring the shit up with Stevie Torrance, saying, hey, you know, like, I bet she's worried in his boots now. She got in the head of him a couple of years ago, and it got a bit nasty. So this weekend in Pomona in California is the finals.
You should go.
I'm on a jet plane. Don't worry.
This is pre-recorded. Are you on a jet plane now?
No, looking forward to it. And looking forward to Pomona this weekend to see the championships decided. Also catching up with Steve Hallam.
Good. She doesn't look like a dad.
Thank Christ. And now.
What?
We usually don't get away unscathed, and we didn't this weekend. Let's have a look at the next one, Robbie. Doug Gordon in top alcohol funny car, the Camaro. The green one got out of the groove. Turned the tyres.
Is that an 86? Oh.
Looks like it.
Could be now. You could put anybody over the top.
And look, just lost control. Wheel speed up, upside down, and away they go. Alcohol funny cars, you know, nowadays regularly over 260, sometimes over 270 miles per hour.
Wow.
So a big one there for Doug Gordon, thankfully.
Do we know what caused it?
Yeah, he was very, 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 very upset, man. And let's go to the NHRA for an official comment.
What happened?
Young bloke, cold tyres, fucked it up.
LP's going to send us invoices.
And the NHRA people have the same uniform as the Toyota safety people and everyone.
Do they?
Well, it looks like
the safety safari.
Yeah.
Do they wear safari suits? Sorry.
Righto.
What happened?
Now,
what's happening this weekend?
This weekend, it's the NHRA finals at Pomona in California. Looking forward to going to that.
Is it near Sonoma?
No, Sonoma is in wine country in the Napa Valley.
Right.
So it's about, I don't know, 6 or 8 hours drive north of just past San Francisco.
Are you going to San Francisco?
No, but I am
Will
going
you have
to
flowers in
Pomona.
your hair? Oh, okay.
So I'm heading over there tomorrow.
Good. Bring back some duty free.
But yeah, right. But I will be back in time for the next show, Philip, which
When's
will be
that?
on Wednesday, the 27th of November.
Yes, 27th, one of my favourite numbers.
Yes.
Episode
Grateful
17.
Australian World Champions.
Episode
Oh, no,
17.
27. Yeah, episode 27.
Casey Stoner.
17.
Alan Jones.
Yes. Episode 17.
Dick Johnson.
It will be our last show for the year.
No!
Really? And if we don't get someone to pay, it will be our last show ever. But we've been growing and growing and growing.
We have. The numbers are great.
Our last 3 shows have averaged more than 50,000 views per show, considering we started off at 3. At episode 1, Phil, I think we've had a good run, and we appreciate everyone for tuning in, even the people that like stupid shit.
Be nice.
We actually probably would have got over 60,000 views per show, but I've banned that many dickheads. It's not funny. So, but anyway, our last show,
for the
will
year.
be Wednesday, the 27th of November. It's after the Supercars finale.
Knees up.
It's after the Supercars gala, but not before the Supercars drivers party.
Oh, really?
So,
yes,
possibly our last show, but Phil.
No more last comments from the fans.
Oh yeah, Tony Fleming booked a race and travel accommodation package through V8 Supercars for Newcastle from Darwin, and the price customer service has been excellent. Couldn't have booked it cheaper myself or anywhere. Well, that's bloody good news.
That is good news.
Great.
That's a great thing. There's also a cut price tour just been advertised for the Vietnamese Grand Prix. I might go.
Can you bring me back 16 Simpsons and fried rice? Fingers crossed for next year with the rule and format changes, Australian GT can regain the field sizes it had
Hope
3 or
so.
4 years ago. This is Corey Horter.
That would be great, Corey. Would love to see that.
Can't rewind time. No, we can't. Anyway, I stand by what I thought about Bathurst. What did Clive said something here? Steve Green, I liked the show a lot better before the dickheads found the comment section. Yeah, so do we.
That's right.
9.6 for the landing. Yep. Wow, big crash, not a Toyota 86 in sight.
No.
Yes.
Good.
Thanks, Dave Stillwell. Yeah, and be there. I'll be bagging the Opal, said Gregory Munzer. Last show for the year, Ty. Hopefully we come back if I can get some cash. Despite the fact you both look very old, well done, boy. Davo lashes out. Thanks, Clive. Will DJR team be disqualified from the championship before or after the show?
No. No one's going to get disqualified from the championship.
No.
I don't think so. And people just want to see this put behind us.
But will be a great battle for the teams championship in Newcastle.
Oh yeah.
Before the Giz had his problems with the Red Bull Holden car, Triple Eight were in front.
Yeah, absolutely in the box seat.
They're now just trailing, but not by much, only 100 or so points, and it's going to be a ripper battle. So
let's hope there's some good racing on the streets for Newcastle. Let's hope that everything just goes through the whole weekend, without any controversies. Because obviously, we've been talking about it because we're in the media, but people in the pit lane, everyone's just over it. We just want to get to the end of the year and have some good races and then get ready for 2020. And there's going to be a whole bunch of, half the grid's going to change. Jack Smith's been confirmed as the 4th car at BJR, Smith & Jones. And there's lots of changes going on and lots to look forward to.
$115 for 5 hours, 85 admin, 35 the paddock.
Really?
To Kingsley Edgar.
Okay.
Did you feel bent over at that, Kings? Jesus. You could get a dim sim franchise, mate, says Mark. Shut up.
No, South Melbourne Market's got those sorted, mate. The South Melbourne Market dim sims.
Question by Ty. Will the Newcastle be affected by the fires? We've had someone say no. Greg Munzer, great show. Thanks.
Thank you.
Sweet. Thanks, everyone. Great to have your company. Thank you again for Robbie the Apprentice. It's 10 o'clock. He said he'd be home to his wife by this stage.
Oh, God.
We appreciate everyone being here. I've got to be at the airport at about 6 o'clock in the morning because I'm going cattle class in the shit seats. Roland, if you're watching, if you can get me an upgrade, I'm flying out of Sydney Virgin.
Gee whiz.
Really? Thanks, guys. Appreciate the love, and we'll see you 2 weeks.
Bye.
The Motorsport Show is the best live show on Facebook. Extremely entertaining and factual. Everyone should watch it.